Mm. Hello and welcome to the Soul Alignment channel. So today we just gonna be talking about, I'm gonna pick up from a live that I started yesterday that I didn't get to finish. And I guess it just falls into Transparency Tuesday because I'm just gonna be being transparent about my journey as a mom, my struggle with it. Um, I went live yesterday and I started talking about it, and I had to cut it short because I needed to just be present with my daughter, and we had a lot going on yesterday. So I wanted to hop back on here and just finish talking about what I was talking about with the struggle with being a mom, and just how I feel like people don't talk about the struggles of it enough, Because being a mom ain't easy. Hey, Tail. um, Being a mom is not easy, and it definitely wasn't easy for me. Um, I struggle with it a lot, and there's so many dynamics to why I struggle with it. First of all, when I was a kid, you know how when you're younger, you're talking with your friends and you're like talking about when you get older, how you want to have a family, and you just have this um, imagination about growing up, being married, having kids. That wasn't me. Like I always said, I didn't want no kids and I didn't want to get married. That was two things that I always said. And so, coming into motherhood very early, right? I got pregnant when I was 14, had my son at 15, so I was a young mom. Um, I struggled with this so much because I felt like, first of all, right, I didn't feel like I got what I needed from my mom. Or I can even put both of my parents in there as far as, they showed up in different ways, the best way that they could, under their own circumstances and things that they had been through, how they were showing up in life. But I just never felt like as a mom, so from that mom aspect of it, like I just never felt like I got everything that I needed from my mom to be a good mom. And so me being a good mom was based off of that. Like, how could you be a good mom when you feel like you didn't get everything that you needed from your mom? And it never was coming from a space of like blaming my mom or being angry at her, which is so crazy because I've always just had this understanding of watching my mom and the things that she struggled with, and her just doing her best, right? With what she had. She did the best that she could with the tools that she had. And that's what it was. So when I became a mom early, I can remember my mom always saying, like, oh, you're a better mom than I ever was. She would always say that to me just throughout my journey of being a mom. And even though I was hearing it, even though I'm looking at my kids and I'm seeing them, I'm seeing how I'm showing up for them. And of course, with each child, it was different. It was different parts of me, right? So being that young mom, I just pretty much did the best that I could with the tools that I had, right? I made sure I was, feeding them, changing his diapers. I had like this whole schedule. And she was like, girl, where did you even learn all this from? Like, I ain't never even do this. So I guess it was just in me to be the mom that I am. Um, Despite how I was raised or the things that I felt like I was lacking, like it just was there. And so, um, I can just remember always having this internal battle with myself of just feeling like I wasn't good enough as a mom. So no matter what I was doing, even though I was showing up doing my best, right? And my best is being reflected by my kids and how they show up in the world. And when I go to parent teacher conferences, the teachers just speaking to that, like, oh, you're doing an amazing job with him. He's such an amazing kid. Or, My daughter struggled in school, of course, and she had her struggle. So the battle with me and her was, I think, one of the worst. Um, One, because, right, she's a girl, she's a mirror of me. Um, and then coming into motherhood as an adult, because with my first son, I don't think I really thought much about it, right? I was just doing what I needed to do to take care of this baby, right? I'm a child raising a child, but I did the best that I could. My mom was there to like watch him, and pretty much what she did was in my eyes and how I perceived it, was just like her trying to take over so I can be a kid, right? Oh, go do this. I'll watch him. I'll keep him, So my mom, pretty much feel like she was there the bulk of that time raising my youngest son. So it's like she kind of took over, and I felt like that. I was like, no, like, this is my child. I can do it. But of course, I still wanted to enjoy myself too, and she gave me the space to be able to do that. So she always had him. But once I got older and I got married and I had more kids, then it was more me stepping into my power as a mom, right? I know what I'm doing. I got this. I don't need you to step in and save me. Like, I got this, and um once I got older, I started to look at the things that I didn't get as a kid and how I wanted to show up different for my kids, how I wanted to give them the things that I didn't get as a kid. So I started parenting from that aspect of being a mother. And then I had to realize that I can't parent this way either. And then I found myself getting angry because I'm giving y'all all the things that I didn't get as a kid. And I don't feel like y'all grateful for this. And I found myself getting angry. I found myself battling with my daughter and just being so angry at her sometimes and feeling like, you know what? I can fight this little girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I had to tell my therapist, like, I know this is not the 40-year-old version of me that's wanting to fight my daughter, or the 33-year-old version of me, however old I was. Like, I know that's not that version of me wanting to say and I want to fight my daughter. That's my inner child. Like, she's mad. She's saying, look, y'all getting all the things that I didn't get, and y'all don't appreciate it. Y'all acting as if y'all, I say the way that y'all act sometimes is how I feel like I should have been acting growing up, because I didn't get these things. And so then I found myself getting angry, so I had to go within myself and do inner child work on that, because it was like, it's not their fault. Like, I had to have compassion for myself too, because those feelings were valid. Like, that inner child in me still exists. She's still hurting. She's still, feeling neglected. She's still feeling all these things. So I had to honor her. But then I also had to realize that, okay, I can't keep parenting from what I feel like I was like. And now I have to parent from each child individually. Like, what do this individual child need? Because they all have different needs, right? They all come here, their souls come here to experience different things. So then I had to separate that aspect of parenting from my inner child, in which it helped. It really did help, because the relationship that I have with my kids is amazing. Like, they talk to me about everything. It's some things that before they used to come talk to me about, I used to feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't feel equipped to have these conversations. I don't think I was prepared for it, because first of all, I didn't have nobody to sit down and talk to me. Like, nobody explained anything, right? Back in the day, like, you just got your ass whipped for whatever you did wrong, and there was no explanation or no sitting down and explaining to you, this is why I'm whipping you, or this is why you got in trouble. Like, nobody sat down and had those one-on-one conversations. And with my kids, we sit down and we have those conversations. So as they got older and things started to happen in their life, they would come talk to me about it, and I would shut down sometimes because I was like, I don't even know what to say to this, because I ain't never have nobody sit down and talk to me about this, you know. So me parenting from my inner child helped, but then I realized how I was getting angry, and then I realized how maybe what I'm thinking they need from my inner child and what I feel like I need, maybe they're needing something different. So then we had to start to have those conversations. And so yesterday when I was on here, I brought up the story about my dad. I could remember, I think I was 11. And when I was a kid, I absolutely loved babies. So anybody who had a baby didn't know I was the babysitter. Very young, 9. I can remember at 9, my cousin brought his baby over, and he wouldn't let nobody hold a baby but me because I was so good with kids. And so I just love kids. I just love babies. So we had moved, and they had these girls who lived down the street from us. They were older, so like 16, 15, 17, and they all had babies. And so my sister was friends with them. But then when I found out like they had babies, of course, I was going down there and I was hanging out with my sister, hanging out with them. And my dad was furious. He was like, I don't want you hanging down there. They older than you. You don't need to be hanging down there with them. But I would still go anyway because I just wanted to hold their babies and just babysit. And one day he came to visit my grandfather and found out I was down there, and he whipped me. He came, knocked on their door. The girl was like, oh, your dad's outside. I said, okay. So I went to the door. He whipped me from their house all the way to my house in the street. Just embarrassing. And I can remember that like it was yesterday. But I also remember him not sitting down really talking to me about why he didn't want me down there, you know? He didn't really explain it. The only thing he said was, oh, they older than you. You don't need to be hanging down there. And they have babies. Like, you don't need to be hanging down there by them. He didn't try to understand why I was down there. And he didn't really explain to me in depth why he felt like I shouldn't be hanging around them. Not just because they're older, because I have cousins that's older, their age. I have cousins that's their age that have kids. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't make no sense to me as a kid. Like, he didn't explain nothing to me. So with my first son, of course, I was in that cycle of giving whippings. So he got his behind whipped also. But once I had my other kids, then the more I was going within myself and understanding me, understanding things that I didn't like, about how I was raised and how adults showed up in my life, I started to adjust accordingly in raising my kids. So my other kids, they didn't get whipping. So my older son, he's always like, oh, you sure did change. Why you don't whip them? Oh, they need a whipping. You need to get your belt for them. Um, Hold on. This, I honestly don't remember any of the reasons for why I got whipped. Only just the reaction. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I know it's so many of us. It's so many of us. So the communication piece is huge for me and my kids. But then also I have these moments where I feel like I'm not appreciated by them and how I show up as a mom. And sometimes I be like, shit, you know, people be like, what, you want a medal? You want a reward? Hell yeah, I want a medal. I want a reward. I want a reward because guess what? Nobody ain't showed me this. I didn't have no examples of this. And I'm showing up and I'm giving y'all my best. I'm giving y'all my all, even when I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm showing up even when I don't have nothing to give. I'm pouring it into y'all, you know? And so I found myself being very angry and just frustrated. I found myself like pulling my energy back as a mom because I'm looking. And I had this idea, right? Like, oh, I'm giving them all these things. I'm pouring into them. We're going to have beautiful relationships. They're going to be like my best friends. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be doing all the things. So when they was younger, we used to go skating together. I used to take them to the park. Like, we used to just I used to create these moments of just being present with them and just trying to build this beautiful connection. And I have built that beautiful connection But another part of me, like once they started to get older and like get friends and like you're no longer the cool mom, you know, they don't want to hang out with you anymore. They don't want to do all the things. You start feeling some type of way. You like, look, I invested in y'all. I invested in y'all for us to have this beautiful bond. Like I wasn't ready for them to just grow up and just be their individual selves and not want to be around me so much, you know? And I know from my own experience as a daughter, like I know what that's like. But you still, I don't care how much you know it or even you experiencing it yourself, like it still hurt. Like it still hurts because you feel like, you know, um they don't see you or they don't care about you as much as they used to. And I know that's not true. That's an illusion because my kids do. They love me and they show me in the best ways that they can, you know. And sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want to have to ask for you to clean, you know, I don't want to have to ask you to clean up. I just want you to do it. Like those are, I guess I would say that's my love language that y'all can show me. Like y'all just getting in here and clean without me having to ask, you know. You calling on the phone and say, hey mom, I'm out, you know, would you like me to bring you a Starbucks drink or something? Like, you know, just the little things. Just the little things. I'm not asking for much, you know, but it still hurts. You know, so I can remember maybe like I want to say maybe it was like 7 years ago because I just got to a place where I can the last 3 years, I've just gotten to a space where I can really say I'm a good mom and like really honestly just know that, right? It's not so much a belief anymore. It's like a knowing. I know I'm a good mom. Whereas before, I struggled with it. I struggled with it because even though I was showing up and I was doing my best and I was giving them all the things that they needed, um, it never was good enough for me. I always felt like something was lacking because that part of me that felt like I didn't get the things, even though I'm showing up and I'm being this mom that was different from my mom, even though I'm showing up in that way and I can see it, it's being reflected back to me, but I didn't feel it. So it brought me back to it don't matter what people say to you. It don't matter what you say to yourself. If you don't feel that internally, like if you don't feel that in your core, nothing that nobody say or nothing that you see around you matter. It don't matter because you don't feel it. It's the feeling. So you can have 100 people saying you're a good mom, your kids showing up in the world reflecting your parenting, but I didn't feel it. And I can remember my son, he's 18 now. Maybe he was 14. And he had asked me one day, we was out skating, and he said, Mom, what do you enjoy about being a mom? And I couldn't even answer him. I was like, I can't even answer that question right now. Because I was just getting to a space where I was starting to enjoy it. Like during that time when he was 14, I was just creating moments of really enjoying it, really being there, really being present. Um and enjoying it because before I was just doing it. I was just showing up. I was just putting in the work, like not really enjoying it, but just doing it as like um an obligation. Like this is what I have to do. I'm gonna do it, and it doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter that I'm not enjoying it. It doesn't matter that I'm struggling internally about being a good mom. Like none of that matters. I just have to show up and I have to be present. But I can remember times where I was trying to escape it as much as I can. So like if I'm working a job, if they have overtime, I'm working it. I'm working it. Oh, I can work 6 days a week. I'm working it, you know. And like I said, my mom was there watching them. So any opportunity I got to kind of like escape it, just to get a breather, like, oh my goodness, like I'm giving this all I got and I really don't have much else to give to it. And then again, becoming a mom so early. I'm like, I've been a mom practically my whole damn life, you know? So, and still not blaming nobody for that. Like, I take accountability for my actions, for my choices. I up in this life and I just do what I need to do, you know? So, um, yeah, I just really been like reflecting on that. Like, and I tell them sometimes, and I talk to them and I tell them, so everything that I'm sharing here, I have shared with them. Um, Acts of service is mine as well. Yeah, I'm like, shoot, it's the little things. And you know, like for my 18-year-old and even my oldest son, because I went through this with him too. It was like, you know, once they get in relationships and you see them like showing up for their girlfriends and doing all the things, making the baskets, buying the gifts, and you like, I didn't get nothing on Mother's Day. And I'm not no materialistic person. I don't even want the things. I just tell them like the small things matter to me. Like, hey, I know my mom like Starbucks. Let me get a Starbucks gift card or whatever, you know. But then I see them saying, oh, I'm gonna go get my girlfriend a drink from um Dutch Bros, and you know, you seeing them do all these things. Yeah, you get kind of jealous and you mad because you like, hold up, I done took care of you my whole dog, your whole life, and that's how you gonna do me? But then it goes back to right what our parents told us and what their parents told them. Like, no, me taking care of you was not um like something that you have to pay back. I took care of you because that was my job as your mother. So you don't owe me nothing. So I'm always reminding my kids, like, yes, my ego get in the way and I feel some type of way about things. But I always come back to them and tell them, like, y'all don't owe me nothing. Like everything I did because I wanted to do and because I love y'all. So when I have my moments where my ego take over and I make y'all feel like y'all obligated, I never want to make y'all feel like y'all obligated to do anything because y'all not. You know, I would appreciate it if you would show up, you know, um, and help out a little more. Just like I said, do things without me having to ask. I would appreciate that. You ain't never got to buy me nothing, but if you get in there and see that kitchen is not clean and you get in there and you clean it, I would appreciate that. It's like, you know, it's the little things. It's the little things. But I'm proud of where I am now. Um, with just like that feeling of not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, and the way that I was showing up as a mother. Um, you know, I'm grateful that I've worked through that and I'm finally in a space where I see me and I value me, every part of me, you know, especially as a mom, because like I said, I've been a mom pretty much my whole life. Shit, that's how I feel. I feel like it's been my whole life. From 15 to now is a long time, you know? But I did what I needed to do. Still showing up with love and just, you know, um, flowing with this life. So, you know, and it's funny because all the moments that I would feel like that are, it's like the universe would always just have them do something, you know, when I'm struggling. Some days they didn't even know I was struggling, but I'll get up and go downstairs and the house will be clean, you know. Or they'll write their letters and leave it on my dresser, you know. So it's those moments. And it's in those moments when I'm struggling, like I have to go back to that. Like, oh, remember when they did that? Or remember when they left you that note? Or just like I said, how they talk to me. You know, um when my son lost his virginity and he came and he talked to me, my friend was like, girl, that speaks volumes to just who you are as a mom, because especially with him being a boy. She was like, I'm just impressed. She was like, because especially with boys, like they ain't talking to their mom about this type of stuff, and they do. Like, we just have really, really good relationships, and I love that communication piece. The communication piece is major for me, because I that was something that I wanted so bad, and I've created that space for me and my kids to have that. So of course, I have my moments and I say the things and I feel some type of way, but I'm also recognizing too when ego is operating and when I'm coming from my heart space. Ego feels entitled. Ego feels like somebody owe you something, even when it's our kids. You know, that thing always get me when parents say, I took care of you my whole life. Like you owe them something, like because they took care of you, which was their job. Like, we had the kids, they had the kids, it was your job to take care of me. I didn't ask to come here. So you did what you were supposed to do. I don't owe no debt to that. So if you an adult, if you a parent with adult kids, right, if those kids show up, if they helping you out, if they, whatever it is, taking you to the store, taking you to doctor's appointments, showing up in some form or fashion, just know they're doing that from their heart. It's not because they're entitled to do it, or if they're not able to do something for you, you're making them feel bad because you took care of them their whole life. Like, that was your job to take care of us. It was my job to take care of my kids. Like, they don't owe me no debt to that. And I still have to check myself sometimes about that, because we get caught up in that loop, that pattern, that cycle from what was said to us, what was done to us, and we do the same thing to our kids. Like, no. So just have gratitude for the ones that are showing up, and just know that they don't have to do anything. But if they're showing up, they're doing it because they want to do it. And some people are showing up because they feel guilty. Listening to that, oh, I took care of you your whole life. Like, you owe me. Come take me to the store. Come do this. Come do that. Forgetting that you have your own life that you live in also. So no. So yeah, it's just, when I think about just the cycles that continue to repeat itself, it's crazy. And just the stuff that we say, the stuff that we believe. Like, just really taking the moment to stop and just hear what you're saying. Like, how does it make sense? How is you holding that over somebody's head when you clearly gave birth to that child? So everything that you did was because you were supposed to do it. I am in a safe space too, and I love that. So when it all comes down to it, like, I have my moments, but when I come to that and knowing that, yeah, I'm proud of myself as a mom, because that safe space is so important. If you don't have nothing else, if your kids just have that they know they can come back to, despite the differences that y'all may have, like, they always know they can just come and just have that safe space to talk without judgment. It's priceless. Oh, but I keep coming back to how, you think you think you done, like, broke a cycle, and you like, oh, I ain't doing that no more, and then you catch yourself doing it, that very thing. I'm like, oh my goodness. But I'm learning that the things continue to come up to show you how much you've changed. But if you catch yourself doing it, like, don't judge yourself, don't beat yourself up about it. Just give yourself grace and say, okay, I'm doing that thing again. I need to, adjust accordingly to it. But I have to go back a lot and just apologize because my ego still gets in the way. And I just have to go remind them, like, you don't owe me nothing. And I'm sorry if I ever make you feel that way, but I just want to remind you that you don't. And then also in that, still honoring myself and just reminding them, like, hey, I would appreciate this. You don't have to, but I'm just telling you what hurts me and how I would like you to show up different in our relationship, because with every relationship is communication. People think just romantic relationships. No, it's all dynamics of relationships. It's with your kids, it's with your partner, it's with, your mom, it's with, it's all the dynamics of the relationships. Like, you have to pour into that. It can't just be um one-sided. So, yeah. Mm. Y'all, it's getting cold. Goodness. I'm like, the only thing I don't like about living out here in Colorado is our fall season is so short. It's like you have fall for maybe 2 weeks, and then winter just roll on in. And when I first moved here, it would always snow for Halloween. Like, that's when we would get our first snow. So, like, the leaves will start to turn, and it's like once it snowed, the snow forces the leaves to fall faster. So it's like fall goes so fast. Um, right, it's winter. Winter is definitely, that's how I feel. I'm like, it's fall season, but in Colorado, it feels like winter comes so early because it is cold. Like, it's cold. It's been cold the last 2 days. But yeah, um, but I'm still trying to enjoy fall as much as I can. Oh, so tell I since you on here, like, um just talking about like that mom and daughter relationship, do you have anything that you want to share? I still want to go to the pumpkin patch too. I know we gotta find one for real. um but just anything you want to share from like your perspective of, you know your relationship and things that, and me and you have our relationship is, you know we have a good relationship. So, if you want to share something in the comments, you can if you want to, but you don't have to. Oh. Oh, if you was on, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'm sitting down here. I'm like, shit, I think I'm about to go inside. It's cold. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. Another thing too I want to share, just talking about the whole mom and the guilt and the shame. Like how I had the feeling of not feeling like I was good enough as a mom. My mom also had that feeling. And no, she didn't show up in ways that I felt like I needed her to show up. But I understood this just from me being a mom. Like, I understood that she did the best that she could with the tools that she had and under the circumstances in which she was raised and the things that had happened to her. I understand. What is going on with this one? I was gonna roll my window up. This bus just started. Um, I was once I became a mom and I started to see like I'm doing the best that I could as a mom, it made me have compassion for my mom and just understand. But as long as I can remember, I don't think I ever just was angry at her or felt like, just had this animosity towards her. Like, it was always, let's just work on our relationship from where we are. And I guess she would have a different viewpoint because I can remember when I was younger, she used to always say, like, oh, you always have an attitude, or you act like you hate me, or whatever. So I guess when I was younger, maybe I used to, project that towards her without knowing it. But as an adult and really understanding the dynamics of things that you go through and how you show up in relationships, and just hearing her story and the things that happened to her just made me have compassion for her. And I would always tell her, like, I'm not holding a grudge against you. Like, I love you, I forgive you. But she never forgave herself. And it was always this constant repeated cycle of, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, or the constantly apologizing. And I'm like, why do you keep apologizing? And I keep telling you, like, I see you, I understand. We can't change the past. We can only work on right now. So how can we work on a better relationship today? We can't change the past. You can't do nothing about that. But she have her guilt and her shame that she drowning in. And I just had to realize, like, I can't change that for her. I can't go within her and do the work for her. And I know that because nobody can do it for me. I had to do it for myself. So it was that too, It's like, again, the constant cycles repeating itself. But I love her. I see her for who she is. Apart from all the things that she been through, I see her heart. But she's somebody who's stuck in her trauma and stuck in the past and just want to keep repeating that loop, that cycle. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I can't. It's not serving us. Like, it's not doing anything for us. It's not making us better. It's not helping the relationship right now. So, I had to separate myself. It's just like, no, I still love her. And like I said, just watching my mom and and everything that she went through and how she was when I was a kid, like being afraid of her own shadow, not wanting to be around people, like all of those things, staying locked in her room, like just watching who she was as a kid and how she, came out of that, breaking her shell and going out and doing things on her own. Like, I'm proud of her. And I would always tell her that, like, I'm proud of you. I see you. But it's crazy when you, like I said, you can see people, but if they don't see themselves, ain't nothing you can do about it. And then it comes to a point to where you have to choose you because they don't see the damage that they're doing, or how them staying stuck in those cycles and in the past is affecting you and where you are on your journey. Then sometimes you just have to separate yourself. It doesn't mean that I don't love my mom or I don't care about her, because I do. But I had to tell her, like, I love you, but I love me more, and I have to choose me. I have to choose me. Like, we all are more than capable of doing the work. You just have to choose. You have to choose it. So, you know, that's where I'm at with it. Um, it is different being in the comments. You've had the call. Wait, you've had the call with her? Tell, you still in here? The call with who? Ooh, I probably need to roll my window up. It is cold outside. Oh no. Uh-uh. But I've had the conversation over and over again, you know. And then um I just made a video and just said my piece, and I'm just where I'm at. Oh, because when I first got in here, it was kind of stuffy. Um, when I first got in here, it was stuffy, and then I put the window down. But now the sun is going down, and um, the sun is going down, and the wind is blowing. Um, but yeah. But yeah, growing up, I had both my parents. Like I said, they both had they dynamics of things that they were dealing with and how they showed up in life. I could always remember like my mom feeling like my dad was my favorite. And you know, she would always say stuff like, um, he don't show up and do as much as I do, or you know, he put women before you, and just all this type of stuff. But one thing, the difference between them two, and I can say when I was younger, probably why I gravitated more towards my dad, because I can remember my dad like taking me to the park. I can remember him, you know, teaching me how to ride a bike, teaching me how to skate, like doing all those things. Like the memories that I have with my dad as a kid, as far as like taking me out and doing stuff with me, that's probably why I gravitated to him more, you know. Whereas my mom, she, like I said, she was suffering from depression. She would always be in the room, and like, yeah, she created moments where she would try to do stuff with us, like when she was going by a friend and we have a slumber party. But my childhood memories with my dad left a bigger imprint on me than with my mom. So of course, as I got older, she always looked at it that way. And then another thing was like, when I was with my dad, he never made me like how she talked about my dad in a negative aspect. He didn't talk about her that way to me. The only thing he had a problem with, I remember my mom used to like to put false hair in my head, like the little long ponytails, make me look like an Indian child. And my dad hated it. So their battle was them battling between this hair. So when I go by my dad, my mama put the hair in my head. When I go by my dad will take it out and throw it away. And they would battle about this every time. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it. It is hilarious. They would go back and forth. He throw the hair away, my mom go buy more hair. She put it back in there. And I can't say that I disliked the hair. Like I really didn't care. Like when my mom did my hair, I liked it. When my dad took it out and let me wear my natural hair, I liked that. It was just watching them battle used to drive me crazy. I'm like, look, ain't nobody got time for this. Y'all need to figure this out. But it wasn't until, and my mind was on that hair, baby, until I got into fifth grade. I'll never forget. I was in fifth grade. She took my hair down. She washed it. And I was looking at my hair. I was like, oh, man, my hair is gorgeous. Like, I want to wear my hair out. And she was getting ready to put the fake hair back in. And I said, can I wear my real hair to school? I'll never forget that. I was in fifth grade. And that was my first time going to school with my real hair out. And I can even remember, as I'm talking about that embarrassing moment with the fake hair, I was in third grade. The ponytail was in there. I don't think she had redid it maybe in a week or so. And so the ponytail was like hanging off, about to fall off. And I wrapped it around. I went in the bathroom to wrap it around, and the whole ponytail came off. I was so embarrassed, didn't know how to fix it. And I just had to chuck it up and go back to class. Like, okay, we just going back to class. We going back to class like this. But man, that battle between them with that hair, oh my goodness. It was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, now I'm just reflecting on childhood memories and my parents. You know, my dad had his thing with the women and putting the women before me. And if I had to go to my mom, shoot, I would say, her with the men. Like she went out and she, had her boyfriends and did her thing. So they pretty much was, similar in that aspect of, I lived with my mom, so I was there with her, but I can remember growing up, like I was always with my cousin them. And I always tell people, like, even though I feel like I didn't get everything I needed from my mom, like she always made sure that we were safe. So that's something else that I just valued and respected about her. Like she wasn't able to show up in the best way, but she always made sure that we was safe with somebody safe. So I always appreciated that. I was like, I didn't have all of the material things, but I had a good childhood. Like I have a lot of good childhood memories. Like we had fun. So I always just go back to that. Like when I have gratitude for my life, it's like, no, my parents wasn't perfect. They didn't do all the things right. They did the best that they could. So, I have gratitude for it. And I'm like, those things that I feel like I was lacking didn't define me or who I grew up to be. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it just comes back to gratitude. Back to gratitude. But I can remember getting older and just like when I was older and I understood and just looking at my dad and how, he put the women before me. Boy, I was furious. And yeah, I felt like he owed me. Like, I'm your child. Look, I'm your only daughter. These women, there's 1,000 millions, billions of women in the world. Like, you only have one daughter. So I used to be furious at him about that. Like, I can remember he had this one girlfriend who she was so mean and nasty. Just nasty. And I can remember the first time I met her. I spoke to her and she was just like, hi. Like, and I was like, ooh. Like, what did I do to her? And like I would call for my dad and she would just be so nasty. Oh, come get this phone. Blah, 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 blah. If I call and ask my dad to come pick me up or something, like she just always had an attitude, but he stayed with her. And I could not understand that. I was like, why are you still with her? Like, you only have one daughter. And we had a big falling out before I moved from New Orleans to here. And I didn't talk to him. But when I got ready to move, I could remember going to sit down and talking with my dad and just telling him, like, look, I forgive you. I love you. And our relationship is important to me. It doesn't matter what she doing or, what she talking about. And we were good. Like we used to talk every day before he passed. And when he passed, I didn't remember the bad stuff, like him putting the women before me. I remember the good moments. I went back to the good memories. How my dad showed up as a kid, how he taught me how to ride a bike, how we used to go feed the ducks at the park. Like all of those things. That's what I remembered. But I've always had these moments where I felt like, why people always putting other people before me? And then I had to ask myself, like, where did that even start at? And when I had to get real with myself and see it started with my dad and my mom, I was like, okay, we got to go work on this. So, you know, it's all the things, but hey, here I am. doing the best that I can as a mom, and knowing that my parents did the best that they could as parents, you know? And we only able to see that when we able to see it for ourselves. I was only able to have compassion for my mom and my dad when I was able to find compassion for myself. So it just goes back to what I say. You can't do nothing for nobody that you're not doing for yourself. So, you know, that's that's what I got today. Just I really been reflecting on that. Just me as a parent and how far I've come with just finally accepting who I am, as a person, as a mom. And yeah, like really genuinely being able to say, um, it definitely, it's already better. It's already better. I'm just reflecting, and just looking over my life, like, and just coming back to gratitude because it all had purpose. You know what I'm saying? Um, for a long time, I used to feel like those things define me, but realizing that they didn't. Like, I continue to rise up and just, you know, alchemize and just transmute things into beauty for myself. Like, yeah, it hurt, it was painful, but how can I turn this into something beautiful for myself? Oh, thank you for subscribing. Yes, I'm on here often now. I'm trying to be obedient to what I'm being guided to do because this is not my comfort zone here. So I'm getting out my comfort zone and just, sharing my journey just to help somebody along theirs because, you know, we all trying to figure this thing out. One day at a time. I always say moment by moment. That's all we have is the present moment. But I know holding on to the past and holding on to the guilt and the shame is real. And so many people are still there. So hmm, that's all. Boom, 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 boom. Where are you from? Maybe you don't mind me asking. It is. Oh, look at the moon. All right. Oh, I was about to say, I don't even know how long I've been on here. Lately, I haven't even been looking at the time. I really just been being in the moment. And the time is flying. Oh, Cleveland. Oh, how the weather is out there. Because I'm in Colorado and I was just telling them that fall is so short lived out here. Like winter comes fast because it's cold. I've been having to wear a sweater inside too because it's so cold. Boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, but I think that's all that I wanted to share as far as just with me being a mom and my struggle and just coming to this place of acceptance that I'm doing the best that I can with the tools that I have. I talked a little bit about my parents and how they showed up and me recognizing that they did the best that they could. When you're a child, you don't see that. You don't even understand it. You be mad. Yeah, Colorado, our slogan here is if you don't like the weather, wait a while. Because you can experience all seasons in one day. It's like that over here. You can go outside, it can be snowing 1 second, the sun will be out in the next hour, like it'll be cold, raining, all the things. Oh, it is. Like spring and fall, I love it out here. It's so beautiful. But yeah, so, you know, I finally got to this place of flowing with life and it feels good. I was letting all the things weigh me down. And I'm finally just at the space of just flowing. Like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. It is what it is. I feel like that Erykah Badu song Bag Lady, that was me. All the way up until 2 years ago. I was carrying all those heavy bags. Like, it's time to put these bags down. I have to live my best life. Yeah, letting it go, baby. Let it go. I love India.Arie song, Let It Go. Just let it go. Inch by inch. Just let it go. And do it again. Because it don't stop. It's like life is going to do what it do. But the biggest awareness that I have come into in this chapter of my life is it wasn't meant to consume me. And for so many years, I was letting it consume me. I was buried in it. My emotions and my trauma. But once I realized that, and then I was holding on to it because I felt like it was my identity. It was like, who am I apart from this? But once I began to let it go and realize that it wasn't my identity and I didn't have to hold on to it, man, it's so freeing. It is freeing. So I love it here. I want everybody to get to this space of just understanding that. I love to talk. Sometimes I won't put my number on here yet, but I love to continue this conversation. Well, guess what? I can even bring you on and we can chit chat live if you're open to it. I'm open to live conversations. Like, let's have a heart to heart conversation. You know? Let's get on here and talk and share. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it now. It's like my emotions, they wasn't meant to consume me. So when they come, I let them come. I'm present with them, you know. And I want to share this too because I've gotten to this space of just internal peace. People talk about it, but until you experience it, like you really don't understand what that means, right? So for me, when I first got to this space of internal peace, I was confused because I was like, how could I feel this peace and still be angry? And my soul showed me, like, because the peace is who you are. That's your identity. It's the essence of your soul. Like, your soul is peace. But you came here to have a human experience. So you still in this human body, which you need to exist. So you're still going to get angry. You're still going to feel sad. You're still going to feel all the emotions. But your emotions were not meant to consume you. They are just the experience. It's a part of life. Because I was like, how could I have peace and be angry? That don't even make no sense. Because stuff still make me mad. I still get sad. Shoot. But it's like, how is that even possible? And then I just realized that, oh, The peace is my essence. That's who I am. The emotions gonna come. So I was just watching Inside Out. And I know everybody don't watch animated movies, but I love them. They are my favorite movies. And I was watching Inside Out yesterday, and I watched both of them. So on the first one, it's all about emotions. And on the first one, Joy wanted Riley to just feel joy all the time. So she didn't want sadness to interact. She never wanted Riley to be sad or angry or frustrated. She was trying to take over and just wanted Riley to feel joy. And then she realized towards the end of the movie that all the emotions were valid. That Riley needed to experience all the emotions to exist because life is happening to her. So everything that she experienced, she's not going to be joyful about that. And that just speaks volumes to us. Like, we only want to feel the good emotions. We don't want to feel the bad emotions. Who wants to? It don't feel good. But it's a part of the human experience. You can't have one without the other. So you just have to learn how to be present with that feeling, with that emotion, not let it consume you. Like, it's valid, so honor it. Like, yeah, I'm angry because this, XYZ, whatever that thing is. We looking at all the things that's happening in the world. It makes us angry, but we don't have to let that anger consume us or, turn our heart cold, make us angry and bitter. Like, no. You still show up, being the essence of who you are, that peace, and experiencing these emotions as they come and letting it go. Kind of like the weather changing. That's how it is with the emotions. Like, you can feel all the emotions all at once. So, you know, that's what it is. But yeah. But when I watched part two yesterday, it was like anxiety showed up. And then anxiety wanted Riley only to feel anxiety and all the overthinking and all of the things. And then towards the end of that, it showed, and towards the end of that movie, it showed how Joy wanted Riley only to remember the good memories. She only wanted her to feel joy. And towards the end of part two, in part two, anxiety took over and only wanted Riley to experience anxiety. And she bottled up the other emotions, the good emotions. And then towards the end, they realized that she needed her good memories and her bad memories. She needed all of those memories because they were a part of who she was. It wasn't her identity, but it was her experience, and she needed them. So those two movies, like I said, you gotta watch them because there are so many messages in there, and just for us to be connected to ourselves and knowing that, yes, bad things happen to us. It sucked. It hurt. But that's still a part of our experience. And we have learned and grown from that. It shaped and formed us to who we are. Now, how you are, only you know. How you've shown up in the world, only you know that. What type of person you allow those experiences to make you become. And just knowing also that you're not stuck there. Every day you get to choose how you want to show up in this world, what type of person you want to be. It's a choice. And it ain't always easy, but guess what? We get to choose. So that's it. I'm going to close out. I am cold. And I'm not about to serve my card. I've been on here long enough, but I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace, love, and light. Y'all have a beautiful day. Night, morning, afternoon, whatever time of the day it is when you watch this re-recording of this live. So